Welcome into the show, everybody. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is the Farzy Show presented by MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Just lovely to have you along for the ride. Although it's not lovely to be along for the ride right now with the Phillies, this is not great. Aaron Nola had his worst start in 2022. You would think he'd get lit up a couple of times before then, considering when Aaron Nola has bad years, he has bad years. When Aaron Nola has really good years, he has really good years, like Cy Young contention type of years. But yesterday, he allowed 8 runs in that game against the Boston Red Sox. It ties a career high. Gave up the most doubles he's ever given up in a game. It was a crazy game for doubles, man, at Fenway Park, which isn't crazily abnormal at Fenway Park. It's a nice doubles ballpark and extra base hits ballpark, too. It's just absolutely insane the way he pitched in yesterday's game. The lack of command, the lack of control, the knuckle curve. I said it on the postcast right after the game. The knuckle curve was very worrisome because that's not just become his put-away pitch. That's become a pitch that he'll start off batters with. That's become a pitch that he is heavily. It's a pitch he throws the most. And last night, and we'll go through the entire game. Last night, it was as if the Boston Red Sox just sat in the clubhouse and just went over slow pitch softball. That's what. Just wait for that knuckle curve. He leaves it hanging. You bang it, basically. And that's what it looked like they were doing time and time again through the 3 2/3 innings that Aaron Nola lasted last night, where you needed 90 pitches to get through 3 2/3. There was one controversial call. Here's the way I like to describe it. The floodgates were really leaking going into last night's game. Like in the first inning, it's leaking. And then all of a sudden, he had already given up 4 runs at that point. Then he goes into the bottom of the 4th inning. He gets 2 strikeouts. And then this is where the floodgates just bursts open, okay? And everyone's looking for a life raft, all right? Was the missed call to last night to Duran. It was a 3-1 count. He puts a fastball up and away, but not very much away. Outer half of the plate, not on the outside corner, inner half of the outside corner of the plate, if that's a thing. And perfect pitch. Great pitch. Should have gone 3-2, should have gone to a full count. Potentially Nola gets out of it after there. Potentially Duran hits a home run. I don't know. But he walked him, puts a runner on, and then next thing you know, they get an RBI single, and then they get the 3-run home run. They put up another 4 runs in the inning. That's when the floodgates bursts open. And McKay behind the plate last night, the umpire wasn't terrible, but in that particular instance, he was terrible. Garrett stopped. The other thing that made it awkward was that he stepped back like he was about to call a strike, and he didn't do it. He called a ball. And Duran, too, was surprised. He stepped back out of the batter's box like he was getting ready to take a little practice swing, and then he realized, oh, I walked? Cool. And then he trots down the first baseline. That's when the floodgates burst open last night in the game. This has been bad for the Phillies since they came back from London, obviously. And I don't look. You want to look for excuses? There's none. You want to look for explanations? Like, okay, well, why is this so abnormal? You have 2 great pitchers throughout this year in both Christopher Sanchez and Aaron Nola, both sub-3 ERAs. They're on the mound in this series here. Wheeler, he allows his first inning run of the season. So there's something to be said with routine. And pitchers, I think, in baseball are creatures of habit more so than anybody in baseball. And Sanchez got gotten to. And then last night, Aaron Nola got gotten to. Career high in runs, career high in doubles in the game, and the knuckle curve, which has been his bread and butter, was just destroyed yesterday by the Boston Red Sox. We'll hear from Aaron Nola, courtesy NBC Sports Philadelphia, what he had to say about his start last night. Also, what he had to say about the break-in routine. I also believe it was Matt Gelb of The Athletic asking Rob Thompson after the game how much these creatures of habit, were affected by their change in routine, alluding to, obviously, London. The New York Mets, by the way. Now, the Mets had a bit of an easier draw The Phillies had to come back to the United States, go to Boston to play on the road for 3, a 500 team, whereas the New York Mets got to go back to their own beds, and they got to host the AAA Miami Marlins, all right? So they had a little bit of an easier draw. The Mets took 2 of 3. Now, you can take this a couple of ways. If you're looking for London is the reason this happened. If that's it, then fine. But they take 2 of 3. The Mets are a bad baseball team. You would think a bad baseball team in similar bad conditions, scenario, would be bad. Nope, they took 2 of 3. They got a walk-off home run last night in the bottom of the 9th inning, thanks to JD Martinez. Okay, all right. The Phillies, they go to Boston. They drop 2 of 3, and 2 of their better pitchers, of a staff of better pitchers, get blown up in Boston. Not great. Not great. The Phillies also. The Phillies went over a month without losing back-to-back games. Okay? The Phillies went over a month without losing back-to-back games. And now the Phillies are in danger if they lose tonight in Baltimore, where they start this series with the Orioles at 7:05 tonight at Camden Yards. The Phillies lose tonight. That's their second 3-game losing streak in a little over 2 weeks. Not great. I am not going to jump on the crazy train and say that this is the beginning of the end. I'm not going to jump on the crazy train and say that this is the Philadelphia Phillies in this particular scenario where they're having a reverse June, so to speak. Usually it's the June month that really they go to the next level, and now it looks like they're going to hit a wall. Nope, not going to go there. Not yet. They'd lose 2 or 3 to the Orioles, and they'll probably be there. One positive thing I'm going to take away from this, and I think everyone knows because it's the only thing you can really take away that's positive, is Kyle Schwarber looks like he's maybe not heating up as far as home runs go in June. 2 home runs, first game of this series against the Red Sox. Phillies win the game. Last night, he's the only Philly to come up with a big hit. And here's the other thing. If you tell me that Aaron Nola is starting a game, and you tell me that your offense is going to get you 10 hits in that game, I'm going to say you're going to win that game. That's not at all what happened last night in this 9-3 loss. And Kyle Schwarber was the only Philly in those 10 hits to come up with the big hit. And it came with 2 outs and the bases loaded in the top of the 4th inning, where the Phillies were already down 4-0. And he steps up there. He gets a hanging slider and just belts that baseball to center field at Fenway Park. And he clears the bases off with that bases clearing double. And all of a sudden, it was a 4-3 game. You think, all right, here we go. Nola had just come off a 3rd inning. We only needed 10 pitches to get through the 3rd inning. He's settling in nicely. Maybe it's what you saw from Zach Wheeler, with little struggles early, and then everything was it was calm seas after that. It wasn't. It was terrible. It was so awful. And it was another game, second straight game here for the Phils. Obviously, the second straight loss, but also a second straight game that just dragged on. It was excruciating. Absolutely excruciating. And there were about 3 different times the Phillies got leadoff runners on. The 4th inning was one of them. They actually brought the run home with Edmundo Sosa. Infield, 2 separate infield singles in that 4th inning, top of the 4th inning. And then later they got another, I think it was Schwarber, led off with a walk in the 7th inning and then couldn't do anything with it. So it wasn't great. He led off the game with a base hit up a seeing eye single to center field. And never could get Hulk really on the ropes other than that 4th inning. And that was the only time they really got to him. Other than that, any opportunity they had, squandered. Runners in scoring position, I know stats a lot of people like to look to, and rightfully so, but this isn't a game to do that. Phillies, in last night's game, with runners in scoring position, weren't anything close to terrible in last night's game. Officially, they were 2 for 6, which isn't great. But they only had 6 opportunities with runners in scoring position. When I look at runners in scoring position, if I only see 6, it's not great. Like, compare it, for instance, to the Boston Red Sox, who were 6 for 14 runners in scoring position. That's the way that shook out last night. We'll go through the game a little bit more. Coming up, we'll let you hear from Rob Thompson, and we'll also let you hear from Aaron Nola after the start. On a positive note, your Philadelphia Eagles, 2 things. 1, Saquon Barkley. No tampering between the Eagles and Saquon Barkley. This stemmed from James Franklin's little comment when he was asked about Saquon Barkley signing with the Eagles. Oh, yeah, well, Saquon told me that Howie's sales pitch to him was, being close to home. And What? James Franklin, shh, with your dry snitching. You shut your mouth. So the league did an investigation. They did an investigation into Atlanta, found Kirk Cousins and the Falcons there. Tampa. They're guilty. The Eagles, no tampering. So don't have to worry about any fines, anything like that, docking of draft picks, anything ridiculous. The Eagles are good in all that. You think Howie Roseman's going to mess that up? Howie knows the rules. Howie knows how to bend them. Howie knows how to break them in a way that people won't notice. Was it a hairline fracture of the rules? Hairline fracture. You really need an x-ray machine. Okay, cool, thanks. And then the other is Merrill Reese is going to the Hall of Fame, man. I mean, it was a matter of time. It was going to happen, right? I think most people realize it. But I feel so amazingly great for Merrill Reese that he's getting that nod to the Hall of Fame. And overdue? Yeah, overdue. But it was just a matter of when it was going to happen. It was like, okay, come on, Eagles. Come on, NFL. Come on, Pro Football Hall of Fame. Let's get him going here. Merrill Reese is going to the Hall. I got a chance to know Merrill, obviously, in my time at WIP. And I'll never forget being in the same room with him for the first time. And being in the same room with him was at his house. Like, other than like getting a chance to just give him a pair of headphones back in the day when he came to the studio. Like, a chance I actually got to talk to him was when I was a part of the pregame coverage years ago at WIP, and the preseason meeting was at Merrill's house. I mean, if you're listening to this, you probably grew up in the Delaware Valley, probably grew up idolizing Merrill Reese, know what an icon he is. And all of a sudden, I got the invite to be at his house. And I never even really talked to the guy before. And I walk in and, oh, Mark, like that. Hello, Merrill. How are you? And we had this meeting. A bunch of people were there. Mike Quick was obviously there. A lot of people from WIP. I think Hugh Douglas was there. It was pretty wild, man. It was a pretty wild experience. And then you just think back on all the memories you have of fantastic Eagles plays, and every single one of them is just, you hear when I think of when I think back on plays that the Philadelphia Eagles have run, over the years, it's always with the internal monologue being narrated by Merrill Reese. You know what I mean? The voice when I'm watching plays in my head or rerunning them in my mind is Merrill Reese's voice. And I think every Eagles fan that grew up with Merrill and grew up in the area, listened to the radio, listened to his calls, or even just listened to the highlight packages on WIP or YSP back in the day, every single one of them is narrated by Merrill Reese. And then you'll have the big, boisterous Merrill Reese, and then you'll have, I know, Merrill, right there with Mike Quick, Like, I'm so happy for Merrill Reese that he's going to the Hall of Fame. Well deserved, extremely overdue. This is just how they do it. And I love seeing the calls that all the stations were playing yesterday, hearing the calls all the stations were playing yesterday. And Merrill finally getting the credit that he deserves to be a Hall of Famer. He's been a Hall of Famer. Now they just make it official. So very happy for Merrill Reese going to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Absolutely incredible. Let's get back to your Phillies. Talk about that. Let's see. The Florida Panthers, just real quick on my misery update. The Florida Panthers are 1 win away from a Stanley Cup championship. Sergei Bobrovsky is going to win a Stanley Cup. He's already got 2 Vezinas, so that's cool. And Drew Holiday is about to win his second NBA championship. So, and the Phillies are about to have their third. Phillies could very well have their second 3-game losing streak in a little over 2 weeks. Yeah. Okay, so things are good. On a more, let me just say this on a positive note before I really get into the Phillies here. Lil Toots graduates from pre-K today. It's weird to say that. And I always thought preschool graduations, pre-kindergarten graduations, kindergarten graduations. Like, really, this is what we're doing nowadays? And yeah, this is what we're doing nowadays, and it's adorable. And now that I'm in the situation, I'm like, this is great. Like, it's the first time I say my daughter's name. People are like, hey, what are you doing about it? I'm like, well, Emanuela graduates tomorrow. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah. So cap and gown and the whole thing for little toots. I'll be sure to get a picture for you guys. Be sure to get a picture. All right, let's get to those Philadelphia Phillies. And she's going to be 5 in August, man. Bonkers. Let's get to your Philadelphia Phillies. Things started out nicely. Tanner Houck goes out there. He's one of the best pitchers in the AL. You hear from Rob Thompson after the game said the same thing. He has just been phenomenal, and he was really no different yesterday other than the big hit from Kyle Schwarber. But in the first inning of the game yesterday, Kyle Schwarber let it off with that seeing eye single right between Valdez and Hamilton there on the first pitch of the game. Castellanos then went up there and was vintage Nick Castellanos. Look, I have been somewhat of a defender of Nick Castellanos, but him batting in the 2-hole is stupid, okay? There is no ways around this. It is stupid to have Nick Castellanos as your 2-hole hitter. If Bryson Stott is in the lineup, he should be batting second. Like, there is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Don't give me lefty, righty. Don't give me lefty, lefty, righty, righty, whatever. Don't give me that bull in the lineup. You have JT Realmuto down, okay? You have Trey Turner just making his way back, maybe even in this Baltimore series. It is stupid to have Nick Castellanos, a guy who does not take pitches ever, and a guy who is just flailing away at outside pitches and has an MO to do that throughout his career. It is stupid to have Nick Castellanos as a 2-hole hitter. And why was I reminded of this last night? Well, because he strikes out after Kyle Schwarber gets the leadoff single. He strikes out on a 1-2 slider that Houck was just baiting him with. And it was a foot outside, and he did the classic Castellanos. Oh, I missed it. Oh, drats. He doesn't sound like that, but you get what I'm saying. And then after that, Bryce Harper grounded out to second base, and Bryson Stott grounded out to shortstop. But at least I know Bryson Stott will at least take some pitches there at the top of the order when I know Kyle Schwarber won't. So, in essence, what you have if you're a starting pitcher is I just need to make 2 pitches. If I have Kyle Schwarber and then Nick Castellanos, I can make 2 pitches and be done with these guys. Like, I can be 2 pitches, 2 outs. That's how I can start my game. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, baby. So that's the way that went down. 11-pitch first inning for Houck in that first inning there. 19-pitch first inning for Aaron Nola. The knuckle curve did not look good. Duran was the first kind of hat tip towards that. The knuckle curve was hung up to Duran for a leadoff double in the first inning there. It ended up not coming back to bite the Phillies in the butt in that first inning at least, but it just didn't look good. Then he gets Hamilton to strike out on a 3-2 knuckle curve. So you're like, all right, maybe. And I was a little hypersensitive going into this game, basically because of what happened with Wheeler and especially what happened with Christopher Sanchez. I was a little hypersensitive to see what was going on with Aaron Nola in this game. So when I was watching that knuckle curve hang up there, I'm like, that's abnormal. Then he gets Hamilton to strike out it on the 3-2 pitch. Fine. Then O'Neill goes up there, gets the infield single. Great job by Sosa being able to cut that off. And then Devers grounds into the 6-4-3 double play. 19 pitches. All right, Nola's out of it. All right, good. Maybe I'll relax a little bit. Phillies, they get back-to-back singles there with 2 outs in the second inning, and then couldn't get anything there. They got first and third with 2 outs. Rojas flies out to right field. Then in the second inning, this is when they really started to get to Nola. Yoshida flies out to left field. Valdez goes up there, gets another double, so second double of the game. That was on a 3-2 knuckle curve, and he waited on that beautifully. That went against the wall there in left field. Then McGuire steps up there. He hits a knuckle curve into the corner. It's 1-0. So now the knuckle curve is starting to really bother me. Smith goes up there, gets the RBI single on a high-rising fastball. They started to shift away from the knuckle curve because he just didn't have control of it. Then Rafaela goes up there. He gets a double. Duran gets a double. That's a 2-run double. Next thing you know, it's a 4-0 ball game. 8 batters faced in the inning, 30 pitches used, 5 doubles, a career high surrendered already at that point in the game in the second inning against Aaron Nola. By the end of the second inning, he'd already surrendered 5 doubles. Third inning, Phillies really don't get much going offensively. Nick Castellanos got a hit of all people, so that happened. But then in the bottom of the third, 10 pitches for Aaron Nola. He looked like he was cruising. Didn't really see a lot of knuckle curves being dropped in there, though, in that third inning, so he was looking to stay away from it. Then in the fourth inning, Phillies get the big hit by Kyle Schwarber that I've talked about, making a 4-3 ball game, and then the floodgates open in the fourth inning. They were leaky. They burst open in the fourth inning, and after that, the Phillies just did not get anything going. You go to the bullpen, and it was kind of a little bit of a reverse from what you saw from Christopher Sanchez and the Phillies bullpen, where Sanchez was bad. I shouldn't say reverse. Sanchez was bad, and then the bullpen was bad. Last night, believe it or not, Nola was bad, and the bullpen was great. And the bullpen was great with Gregory Soto throwing an inning and a third. All right, good for Gregory Soto. Like, I don't want Gregory Soto to be terrible, and last night he wasn't terrible, so that's good. Ryan Kirkgreen came in as well. He was the only person that gave up a run there, and that was pretty much it. After that, the damage had already been done, and the Phillies could not recover. The one thing I will say that I was kind of kicking around there in that fourth inning when Aaron Nola was struggling, at what point would you have gotten somebody up in the bullpen? Because it kind of happened fast. You get 2 outs in that fourth inning. McGuire lines out to right field. He walks Smith. Then Rafaela goes up there and he strikes out. And by the way, on a knuckle curve, there's a knuckle curve on a slide step. So a little bit of a difference there from Nola. So you got 2 outs. You got a runner on. You got 2 outs. You just used a lot of your bullpen the previous night. You have a really tough series coming up here for 3 games in Baltimore. Do you get somebody up in the bullpen once he walks Smith? Or do you do what Rob Thompson does and just wait it out? I think somebody's got to be up, and somebody was not up after the Duran walk. Because Duran works the walk. That should have been at least a 3-2 count. Then it's first and second with 2 outs. Hamilton gives up the single. So this time, maybe a mound conference. You buy some more time. And then you get that pitcher in as soon as possible, and he never faces O'Neill. I know it's a righty-righty matchup. I don't want him facing O'Neill in that situation. O'Neill goes up there, and he blasts that 3-run, and man, did he destroy that cutter. That cut fastball that Aaron Nola threw, that was a terrible pitch to hit. It was a god-awful pitch to hit. And I give every ounce of credit to O'Neill. He reached out in almost a Nick Castellanos fashion to try to make contact with that baseball. And he hit it 430 feet. That's insane. Devers then goes up there, gets the single. Yoshida gets the single. It's first and third with 2 outs. And then Nola comes out. Soto comes in to get the final out of the inning. You got Valdez to foul out to Bryce Harper at first base. At what point would you have gotten somebody up? Would it have been the walk? You're at 59 pitches to start that inning for Nola. I was pissed. I was yelling after the Duran walk. I was like, well, you got to get somebody up. And it just looked like nobody moved. When would you have gotten somebody up? First inning? First inning? When you saw the knuckle curve, didn't look spectacular. Second inning, when the knuckle curve looked a little scary. Third inning, he settled in. Had some struggles in the fourth. It all happened so fast. I don't know. I was just thrown from the car, and it all happened so fast. I don't even know. That's what it felt like watching last night's game. As far as the rest of the squad goes, well, first let's hear from Aaron Nola as to whether or not first off, here's Aaron Nola on the struggles he had in last night's game.
Yeah, struggling with command. Struggling to get the ball down. All my pitches. I feel like the only pitch I was kind of down was a change up. Left a few of those up, though. But, I mean, just bad command.
Did you have a feel in the bullpen before the game and just not want to stick to the mound?
I felt fine in the bullpen. I don't know. I just left some balls up and they didn't miss them.
Bound to happen throughout the course of the year. So how easy is it to turn the page?
I mean, I'm going to flush this one pretty quick. I mean, these are not easy. You know, it's different. Give up 4 runs, 8 runs. You know, I mean, it's to give up. You know, those first 4. I mean, the team's in a better chance to score some runs, and then I give up the next 4. It's a little bit harder to come back on that. So obviously, this one's tough, but I'm gonna flush it and move on. Get prepared for my next outing.
Flushing. All right. Yep. A lot of flushing going on there. in Beantown. So there you go. Felt good in the bullpen. Nothing felt different. Nothing felt weird. One of those games. This guy, it's a career high in runs. It's not like, oh well, he just allowed 5 runs in the game. He struggled to get through those 4 or 5 innings. No, 8 runs, and the bread and butter. Well, the bread was stale and the butter went sour. It was not good. The butter spoiled, maybe. So Nola was asked about the 9-day layoff between starts, and here's what he had to say about it.
Yeah, it's been a while, but I tried to keep myself prepared and ready to go through that time, and try to get my body ready and healthy throughout that time. Travel was tough, and obviously kind of get tight in certain places, but I felt like I got everything out yesterday, and I felt good going into the game today.
One thing I know some people might jump to is the idea of not having JT Realmuto. Realmuto caught him 9 times this season, and then his last 4 starts, Garrett Stubbs has been his catcher, and Garrett Stubbs was his catcher last night. With Realmuto as his catcher through 9 games this season, he's got a 3.58 ERA. With Stubbs catching him this season, he's got a 1.24 ERA. So the Realmuto thing, not a thing tonight. You want to talk about that with Christopher Sanchez and having Rafael Marchand, then yeah, you could talk about it. The Stubbs thing, not so much. Also, strikeouts per walk, 23-5 with Stubbs, 53-17 with Realmuto. So there we are. Can't use that excuse tonight from last night's game. As far as the excuse or explanation or the effect of the travel and all that with the Phillies, he did acknowledge, as he said there, he started the quote off. He started the cut right there with or answering the question by, yeah, it's been a while. So he acknowledges it, which is, I think, is the most vocal Aaron Nola will be about a complaint that he can't control. And I do respect that about him. Everything's in his control, in his mind, and should have had a better outing tonight. And he should have. I mean, there's no excuses. But trying to determine whether or not this is a blip on the radar or the new norm of Aaron Nola's year, which I know a lot of Nola haters, man. They're really, this is why Nola sucks. Really? One of the best pitchers in baseball, other than 2 starts he's had on the season. Like, here's the thing with Aaron Nola that I've like Aaron Nola, brace yourself for obvious statement. Aaron Nola is like not Roy Halladay, where he's going to be a Cy Young contender every single year, or he's not going to continue to do that. Aaron Nola, he goes from like, almost in a way that I describe Christopher Sanchez within games. He'll be like, oh my God, this guy's incredible. Oh my God, he sucks. Oh my God, he's incredible. Like that's kind of the career of Aaron Nola, especially over the last 5 or 6 seasons, where it's incredible year, bad year, incredible year, bad year, incredible year, bad year. Last year was a bad year. This year is on the verge of incredible. His ERA goes from 2.77 to 3.58 after this start tonight. It was bad, man. It was so unbelievably terrible. But yeah, go ahead and flush that, and then hopefully you're back at it by the time the Phillies take on the Padres in their next series. As far as the routine affecting the rest of the Phillies, here's Rob Thompson when he was asked about that by Matt Gelb of The Athletic. Again, sound courtesy of NBC Sports Philadelphia.
A lot of your guys just given it's unusual.
Yeah, I mean,
you don't
maybe,
wanna- yeah.
but you got to overcome it. You know, you got to keep grinding, keep battling. So 100 days ahead. I mean, we're due for one of these too. We haven't had one of these since the second game in Cincinnati, I think.
Yeah.
So we just gotta come back tomorrow and get going.
Well, what impressed you about?
Yeah, sooner that happens, better. Topper's attitude, and you'll really see it here. Topper's attitude is always the same. And if you're a player, you want that. That's why the Phillies have had a lot of success. Also, when you talk about decisions he's made, Kimbrel in the playoffs last year, pulling Sanchez as quick as he did last year, deciding to start him, first sign of worry and concern, he pulls him. Like there are things, Nick Castellanos batting second. There are things that you can look at with Rob Thompson and be like, really? This is interesting. Taijuan Walker being given those extra innings there in his first 2 starts back from the IL. Very odd. Very, 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 very odd. But that's what he did. You can definitely look at things Rob Thompson and be like, yeah, I wouldn't do that, but he's doing it. But overall, a lot of this team's success is because of Rob Thompson as well. It's not a situation of winning in spite of him. And I always go back to something Dave Dombrowski said, and I 1,000% agree with this. I know a lot of people try to make the argument about a manager winning you. A manager can win you a couple games throughout the season, but they can lose you like 10 or 15, like something like that. I think they could lose you a hell of a lot more than that. I think they could win you a hell of a lot more than that. Because, and this is where I agree with Dombrowski, managers are responsible for the overall vibe in the clubhouse, the overall atmosphere in the clubhouse. If that sucks, you're going to lose. Now, granted, if you're winning, generally speaking, the atmosphere is going to be pretty incredible. If you're losing, it's not going to be so great. But it's maintaining that even flow, that even chill vibe throughout the year. And that's what Rob Thompson brings to the table. I know you can't put an analytic on that. You can't put a number on that. You can't break it down. But the only thing that really matters is with him as their manager, they were 2 wins away from winning a World Series. With them as their manager, better decisions. You probably make it to another World Series last year. But if you have Joe Girardi, you're not even sniffing it. Yeah, maybe it's somebody else. All right, maybe Dusty Wathan inspires that in the clubhouse. Right? They just keep on hiring in-house. But for me, I think Rob Thompson, for the most part, has done a wonderful job of making sure that the players feel like they really, as the old saying goes, the inmates run the asylum. Sometimes that's a good thing. In baseball, I think that's a good thing. You can't be too overbearing as a manager. Those days seem to be long gone. Are there different things I wish he'd do? Sure. Yeah. But when things are starting to take on water like they were last night, he just maintains that even keel. And again, they don't get any easier going to Baltimore, as Rob Thompson was asked last night.
Playing well, tough trip there. Say anything or anything like that, or just kind of...
They know what's ahead of them. They're grown men. They know what's going on, so they're going to be fine.
Yeah, what kind of challenges is that? I mean, it should be packed stadiums. I mean, but you guys don't see the Orioles a lot.
Huh?
You don't see the Orioles a lot.
No, they're a good club.
Yeah.
It's a good test. Yeah, it's a good test for them too.
On there, get down. Thank you. I love a little thing, not big, but a little trash talk. Like, it's a good test for us. It's a good test for them too. Keep the confidence going. I mentioned last night that Kyle Schwarber was came up with the only big hit, the only Philly with a big offensive day. That was a lie, because the Reading Fighting Phils had a guy named Brandon Marsh playing for him last night, and he had 3 hits in the ball game for the Reading Fighting Phils. Marsh should be back before we know it. Turner could be back in this series against the Orioles. Things might get back on track, and that's what I'll be certainly crossing my fingers for. And I think we got a lot of reason to cross our fingers and hope for that. Philly's getting back on track as far as that goes. Let me tell you about MyBookie. MyBookie.ag. MyBookie, you want to bet on the world of baseball? Want to bet on the world of basketball? Want to bet on the world of hockey? It's all right there at MyBookie. MyBookie.ag. Download the app, create an account, use promo code Farzy, and get up to $1,000 redeemable cash bonus at MyBookie. MyBookie.ag. Maybe bet on the world of sports ain't your thing. Maybe you like to bet on the world of television. You could do that on MyBookie. Maybe betting on the world of politics is more your thing. You could do that as well on MyBookie. MyBookie.ag. Just whatever you do, whatever you bet, make sure you download the app, create an account, use promo code Farzy, and get up to $1,000 redeemable cash bonus at MyBookie. MyBookie.ag. How about the Game Time app? Download the Game Time app to your phone, create an account, use promo code Farzy, get $20 off your first purchase. When you're looking to buy baseball tickets, basketball tickets, hockey tickets, if that's what you're into, then go ahead, buy them on the Game Time app and use promo code Farzy, get $20 off your first purchase. You also can take advantage of their deals when it comes to going to concerts, when it comes to comedy shows, or it comes to that big event that's coming to town that you got to be at. Use the Game Time app. They have last-minute ticket deals, flash ticket deals. They even have ticket deals for an hour after the event starts for mega huge savings. Take advantage of all they're offering on the Game Time app. Also, the Game Time guarantee. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less money elsewhere, Game Time will refund your account 110% of the difference. That's the Game Time guarantee. And how about this? All in pricing. So there's no sticker shock when you go to check out. How do these $20 tickets become $30 tickets? When did that happen? Well, through the wildly inconvenient convenience fee. That's how it happened. It's all available right there on the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app to your phone, create an account, use promo code Farzy, get $20 off your first purchase. How about PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. That's PHLSportsNation.com. And let's not forget about our friends over there at Sky Motorcars, SkyMotorcars.com. Take a look at Brett's amazing inventory over there at SkyMotorcars.com. That's SkyMotorcars.com. Let's get into the chat check. I see a lot of people popping off in the chat. Let's see what's going on here. Sean Kilrain, what's going on? I looked up and I just all of a sudden saw 50 more comments. Sean Kilrain, what's going on? Good morning. IBH, what's going on? B. Costello, what's going on? Phillies playing better teams now. Let the losing streak begin. The Red Sox were now they're what? One game over 500? Yeah, they're 35-34. They played a team like the Brewers, who are a first place team and won 8 of 10. The Bills, who had won 8 of 10. Those were at least playing good baseball before they got to Philly, and Philly took care of business there. IBH, if they were indeed sitting on the knuckle curve, that's where we will miss the experience of a veteran catcher growing pains. Well, they did make the adjustment. They did eventually get away from it. But yeah, but Stubbs had been catching them and catching well. April, good morning. Sean Kilray, Nola, 3 2/3, officially his shortest outing of the season. Those 2 strikeouts is also marks another season low. Oh, just 2 strikeouts. Nola's ERA jumped from 277 to 238. 240. I think I said 258 earlier. But yeah, 248. Not great. Not great. Thank you, Sean. There we go. Fight the allergies. Live taping. April, I definitely think the London trip messed with their routines. Hopefully they'll. Here we go. Nope, I'm going to fight it. I'm fighting a sneeze, folks. I'm fighting a sneeze, and I believe I just won. April, definitely the London trip messed with their routine. Hopefully they'll iron it out before the next start. They really need to sleep in their own beds. That's what I need. That's what they need. CZ, good morning. Farzy and all, good morning. Mark Holmes, what's going on, Mark? Good morning, good people. It's Big Papa Mark Holmes here. What's up, Big Papa? Mark's ready to go. I like wait a minute, hold on. Mark, I'm up, CZ. CZ, good morning as well. Out here, people in need while eating my keto omelet that I made with 12 eggs. Okay, that's a lot of eggs. So yummy in my big tummy, tum. Thank you for sharing. Hey, good morning. Hey, what's going on? Go Birds, hon. Farzy, brother, you look like you need some sleep. Look, I'll say this. When you're doing the postcasts and all that stuff, this is not a complaint. Do not file this under a complaint. But the 7:10 start times, that half hour, that really sucks. When you're used to the 6:40 start times, that really sucks. And also, as anyone knows who has ever taken their young children to the beach, as we did a week ago, my wife was great. Phillies obviously had games to play during the day. So one day my wife had to take them to the beach herself with a friend of the family. And yeah, it could be a lot. Young kids at the beach, that's a lot. Especially if they can't swim. It's a lot. It's a lot. But yeah, I could definitely use some shut-eye. Yeah, get him. Let's go. Dallas is sweeping Philly, and we're the greatest. What? Dallas is sweeping Philly, greatest team since sliced bread. You hear? Are you a Cowboys fan? What the hell's going on here? Who's infiltrated our chat? Jason A., good morning. Fire Franklin, he sucks. I have no skin in the game when it comes to Penn State. I know a lot of people get hyped about it. I don't care. 2 words, Cowgirls. Why you will never win a Super Bowl with Dak Prescott. 2 words, Cowgirls fans. Go Birds. Yeah, Sean Gillespie. I'm glad you had the same thought. Kirk Cousins tampering for Kirk Cousins? Really? That's like asking the least interesting girl to the prom first. I know she'll say yes. What the hell is going on in this chat? Sean Gillespie, Merrill Reese, iconic voice. Hell yeah. What the hell is going on? It'll take me a minute to sort through all this jazz. Good God, what is happening in here? How about Merrill in the Hall of Fame? So happy for him. What a legend, says Jason A. What a legend in Philly. Now in the Hall of Fame. Can't believe they even can do that for a radio or for play-by-play. Yeah. O'Neal is strong. Yeah, O'Neal is very strong. I think it's got to hurt with no JT because he calls a good game behind the plate and knows the batters. So get these losses off your chest. Yeah, I get. Yeah, Sean, I'm trying to justify it as well. Look, the bottom line is no JT is not a good thing. That is not like all the numbers that I read them off to you there with Aaron Nola and Garrett Stubbs. That's great. I still want JT's bat in the lineup, and I even pointed out how much he'd been struggling offensively. And Stubber, he got a hit for you yesterday. Yeah. It's not tough to top what JT Realmuto had been doing offensively for this Phillies team over the last month of the season. You're talking about a 236 batting average over the last 30 days. You're talking about over the last 2 weeks, a guy that was hitting around like 170. You know, it shouldn't have been difficult to get some kind of offensive production. That doesn't mean that if JT was healthy, I'd be pinch hitting Garrett Stubbs in his place, or I'd be pinch hitting Rafael Marchand in his place. You know, that doesn't mean that. What it means is it shouldn't be a high bar, offensively speaking. Defensively, I think Stubbs is fine. Marchand, I still have to see a lot more of. Obviously, not great with him and Christopher Sanchez in that first start. I know a lot of people will go to like giving an easier target. I see Stubbs. I see Realmuto dropping their mitt early. Somebody tweeted me about this too. It's just getting on the same page and trusting your catcher. And also knowing what pitch you think the pitcher wants. And hopefully not getting shaken off too many times, especially in the pitch clock era in the MLB. Oh, Charles D thinks the Mark Holmes 12-egg keto omelet is fake. It could be. I don't know. It could be. Oh, he is a Cowboys fan. Yeah, I don't have any time for that. You think I need a Cowboys fan this morning? I think I woke up this morning with the Bobrovsky news. Well, the news. They won last night with the NBA Finals, Boston about to win, and the Phillies game last night and the historically bad start for Aaron Nola. You think I woke up this morning and went, hey, what are the Cowboys up to? Like, no, I didn't. Not this morning. There are other times where maybe they live classically rent-free in my brain. Today is not one of those days. I got enough BS in the sports world to deal with. And now the Phillies will start this series against the Baltimore Orioles. So let's jump into that in our morning rush. Brought to you by Sky Motorcars, SkyMotorcars.com. A couple of outside-the-box observations in this morning rush this morning. First, inside the box. One, the Phillies and the Baltimore Orioles square off today, 7:05 tonight. Baltimore 45-23 on the season. The Phillies 46-22. Ranger Suarez gets the start against Kyle Bradish. Bradish, feast or famine. Best way to describe him over his last couple of starts. Overall in the season, he's 2-0 with a 2.62 ERA. That's pretty good. Lately, he has had 2 starts against Tampa Bay Rays. The first one that he had back on the 1st of June, he lasted just 2 2/3, allowing 5 runs, all of them earned on 7 hits, gave up 3 walks in that start. The next time he faced him 7 days later, he went 6 scoreless, striking out 9, only surrendering 1 hit. Before he faced the Rays, he was lights out against the White Sox. So were the Phillies. He tossed 7 scoreless against them. So the Phillies are getting a 27-year-old right-handed pitcher on the mound that they're facing tonight in Kyle Bradish. As for the Phillies, they're starting out Ranger Suarez. It'll be his second start since taking that line drive off the hand. He just got destroyed in London by Ranger Suarez standards, going just 5 2/3. What the hell, Ranger? Surrendering 8 hits, 2 runs, both of them earned in that start in old London town in a 7-2 win over the New York Metropolitan. So Ranger looking to get right back at it. Also worth noting that Suarez, before he got the line drive off him against the St. Louis Cardinals, he had that start in Colorado, and that was a rough one for him. He gave up 4 runs on 5 hits. 5 runs on 3 hits. The defense didn't help him too much either in that game, and he went 6 innings against the Rockies. So we'll see how Ranger does in tonight's game. Outside the box, mentioned the NBA Finals. They're back underway tonight in Dallas. And 8:30 start time, where the Boston Celtics could walk away with a championship, their first since 2008, as we all know, and that Doc Rivers guy was the head coach at the time. But more importantly, Drew Holiday could be winning his second NBA championship. Second in 3 years? Second in 3 years, I believe it is. Great. We're all having fun. I saw Joel Embiid did comment on social media about the Bucks just giving a championship to the Celtics, essentially. I believe in the 3 days, I think it was, that Drew Holiday was available. I said, you got to reverse the process. The only person that could reverse the process is the person you traded away to start it, and that's Drew Holiday. And now, instead of reversing it, he's going to stick the biggest dagger in it. Cool. Great. We're all having fun. We're all having fun here. So, yeah, NBA Finals getting underway again tonight. Game 4, Boston up 3-0, 8:30 start time. We're all having a lot of fun. We're all having a lot of fun. Lastly, am I crazy here? What? I might be stealing this line from Al Morgani, so let me at least credit him. Why do they still call it golf when they should just call it How's Tiger? They should really just call it that. Tiger was 4 over yesterday, I think, at the Open, and still that's the only highlight you see. It's the only thing people care about. It really is amazing. He has not been good for a very, very, very long time. There has been some tragedy, obviously, in his career. Some brought on himself, some not so much. It's just insane to me that it's oh, wait, who's leading it? I don't know, but Tiger's in 47th place, if he's even that high. It's, yeah, 4 over yesterday. Why even bother calling it golf anymore? Just call it How's Tiger. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the show. Tomorrow, or tonight, rather, I'll be on with you for the Locked On Sports Philadelphia postcast. So make sure you catch that. Hopefully, we're talking about Ranger Suarez shutting down the Orioles' bats and the Phillies winning the game at Camden Yards. Hopefully, we're talking about Kyle Schwarber hitting the warehouse, baby. And we'll get into all that on the postcast tonight. So make sure you like and subscribe to the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Make sure you like and subscribe to Jacob Media YouTube channel. Make sure you like and subscribe to the Farzy Show YouTube channel as well. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is the Farzy Show presented by MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll be back with you guys tonight on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, and be back with you guys Monday morning to break down the entire weekend festivities in the world of sports. Thanks, everyone. Catch you on Monday. See you then. Bye.